Hi, this is Wally
And Nanette.
from Gecko Supreme Isopods, and we have something special coming up this weekend and we want to share with you. What do we have going on Sunday?
Oh, the Janesville show.
The Janesville show.
Show
Me, show, reptile show, where you show reptiles.
We call it Janesville.
We call it Janesville. So we have the Janesville show coming up and we're going to be selling isopods. And I know a lot of people haven't sold isopods at a reptile show before, or geckos, or anything else like that. So what we're going to do today, which Nanette just before starting the recording asked, what are we doing today? And I said, you'll find out. This is all unplanned. We're going to show you what you need to prepare to go do a reptile show and sell your isopods. We'll be right back. So I am sporting the newest in Versace wear. Versace? Old Navy.
Isopod wear? Old Navy.
Old Navy. This is from my good friend Scott Wesley. So I'm really hoping to see Scott at the reptile show this weekend from Isopod Freaks. I almost said Gecko Freaks. Geckos are on my mind right now. Isopod Freaks, Scott Wesley. So what are we doing? We're going to tell you what you need to bring to a show to sell isopods. Now, I'm not going to talk about lighting or table skirts or anything like that. I'm saying if you had a table set up just like you would sell reptiles or anything else like that, you've done all the advertising, you've put it out on Facebook, hey, I'm going to the show, see me for some isopods or geckos or whatever. What else would you need to actually sell isopods, to have isopods on your table and to make some sales? This is going to be special. This is going to be fun. Nanette's still looking at me like, what in the world is going on?
No idea.
So what I want you to do, Nanette, yeah, I'm going to make you work again. I want you to get 2 pieces of paper, 2 pens, and we're going to write down everything that we need to bring to a show like this, a reptile show, to sell isopods. We'll be right back. Nanette has 2 pieces of paper, 2 pens, I hope, 2 pens. And what we're going to do, Nanette, is we're going to write down all the things that we think are a necessity to bring to a reptile show to sell isopods. We're going to go fast forward through this. You don't want to see us writing for 5 minutes. So let's do the fast forward thing. Okay, I think we're back. How many items do you have? You have
5 plus 1.
5 plus, just 5 plus 1. So let me do the math here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1. Do we carry? No, she has 6 items. So 6 items, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I have 5 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 plus 1 as well. Okay, so right
That
from
would be 6.
That would be 6, right from the start. Give me your most important thing. We're going to kind of go through this real quick. What's your first one? Most important thing?
The isopods.
The isopods. Dang, you know, I was hoping I would get her on that one. Okay, that's number 1. What's number 2?
Labels.
Labels. I had labels.
You do not. You're cheating.
I had labels written down too. Okay, so you had labels. Mm-hmm. Perfect. What kind of labels?
The label that tells you what kind of animal it is and how much they are.
What do you have on the label?
The name and the price.
How about the
Net quantity.
How about the common name, like giant canyons, things like that?
No, I have the whole name on there.
So you have the scientific name and you have the price.
Mm-hmm. On that
Cool.
little tiny container.
How about the count? Do you ever put the count?
No.
We don't put the count. And when somebody stops by and says how many, it's kind of a conversation starter. Or if they're just looking at them, we'll volunteer. There's 10 in there, but I kind of count more than 10, so there might be 12 or 14, just to keep that conversation going. Okay, so you had labels, so did I.
You did not.
Okay, what else did you have?
Well, if we're setting up at home, the cups to put them in.
The cups. What kind of cups do we use?
We use little tiny plastic square isopod cups.
So you can use the condiment cups that you would find at your local.
Those are tiny, yes.
Those are teeny tiny. Those are like 1 or 2 ounces. You can use the larger cups, like the deli cups, like you would find at pet stores for reptiles. Those are typically 6 to 8 ounces, 10 ounces up to 12 ounces or more. We actually have a deli cup made specific for I don't know, storing. I think that they're 4 ounces. They're really, really nice cups. If I can get a picture, I'll go ahead and add it to the video. Okay, so you had cups. How do we punch holes in the cups?
A push pin. I didn't write that down.
Perfect.
Push pin.
Push pin. I had that.
Good for you.
So we just put about how many holes? Like, it doesn't matter.
No, I just stab.
So she stabs. Okay. So she stabs holes in the cups. Hopefully, before she puts the isopods. She has 9 things. Okay, give me another one.
Sphagnum moss.
Sphagnum moss. So we used to do shows and we used to put dirt and mix the dirt with pieces of wood and put some leaves in there. We don't do that anymore. Why don't we do that anymore?
No clue.
No clue. Yes, and this is all spontaneous. This is a great kind of exchange here.
This is awesome.
And hopefully you're gaining from this as well. What did you think?
Most important is if we do bring anything back, we have to put it back into a container, and we're adding that much more into the container then.
That's a great point, and it's a lot easier to use sphagnum moss. So the day before we do a show, we'll get a bucket, we'll put some sphagnum moss in there, we'll get it damp, and then the next day it's going to be ready. And you just want barely damp. You don't want it soaking wet. Worst thing to do is pull out a new deli cup of isopods and have the sphagnum moss just soaking wet. You just want it just barely damp. Okay.
Do you have that on your to-do list to get done tomorrow morning?
I sure do.
Mm-hmm. On Nanette's
Moisten
to-do list.
sphagnum moss. Okay. What's your next item?
A piece of food to go in the container with the...
Wow, Why do we do food in the container?
So they have something to eat.
So they have something to eat. So if they're hungry, they have a meal right there. It's like having a Happy Meal right by your side as you go to a show. And okay, good job. I didn't have that one. So we'll cut up a little carrot or something a little firmer and put in the deli cup. Okay, what's your next one?
I have the signage with pictures or the QR code that we have so people can go to your website.
So we used to put little, like half index cards on a little stand, and we would stand that up to the groups of isopods. And that worked pretty well, but that takes a lot of time to set up. It's hard to rifle through for the customers and for us to find the isopods. So what we do now is we put the isopods on the table, we try to arrange them by either price and this is kind of up to you, arrange them by price, arrange them by names, and then we have a board with each isopod with their price, and we have a QR code. So if somebody really wants to see what those isopods look like, they can take their phone and go right up to that QR code, scan it, and it brings up our website, and it shows pictures of those isopods. It's really been working well for us. Okay, so you have some kind of a signage, some kind of a, here's what these isopods are priced at. Boy, we're getting right down to it here. Do we have any left?
Yeah, I have 2. I have the checkoff sheet so I know what I've sold
Perfect, I had that
for
too.
my inventory.
So all that it is, well, tell me what's on your checkoff sheet.
Well, the one you just created
In Excel?
has a list of just all the names of the isopods, how many we brought to the show, and we tally off how many we sell.
So when you say tally off, what are we doing?
We just put a check mark.
Put a check mark. And
And
what
then I
if
count them at the end, and then I know how many I sold.
you do all the cross validation and postings? And so I take that sheet and I go right into my Excel sheet, my financial sheet for the year, and I add in, what we sold and everything. But it's also a good way to balance what you brought with what you sold. Okay, we're back. I had to change the battery for the camera. It was getting low. I had the flashing red light. It was pretty dangerous there for a second. So Nanette, we were just talking about the sheet that we bring with listing all the isopods. Nanette made a really, really good point. With that listing and the tally marks with each isopod, it's a good way for me then at the end of the year to count which, and I'll do this twice a year, to find out from these shows what's really selling and what's not selling, and then cut back on the items that are selling or that are not selling and bring more of the items that are selling. Okay, so do you have any other ones?
The extra.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before I go on with that, one thing that we do here is that sometimes I'll make a deal. If you buy a gecko or a bigger selection of isopods, if you buy 5 or 6, I might add an isopod in for free. Nanette hates that. I love it.
It's not that I hate it.
You hate it.
I hate it for record keeping.
Nanette hates
I
it
don't
for,
hate it
I
for
know.
any other
It's
reason.
fun to do for the customers. It's unexpected. But what we'll do then is on that tally sheet, we'll just indicate that we sold one, but we'll put a 0 price just to keep things square. Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Isopod food for sale. So that they have food to feed their isopods.
We have the blatant advertisement. We have the Supreme Isopod Chow and the mealworms and the dried fish and a couple of other things. Anything else that you can sell, because sometimes people will have the isopods that you have, but they'll need food or they'll need something else.
We also, I keep adding to my list as we're going. We also have the setups now.
We have the
mini
isopod
setup, so
setups.
that somebody that's brand new.
I didn't mean for this to get into a commercial here, Nanette, but
You asked me what we bring.
we bring the little setups too. Nice 6-quart setup that we can just give to or sell to the customers to start their isopod colonies. What else? What is that? Did you draw an
That's an
isopod?
isopod.
Show everybody your
There's
isopod.
my isopod. I don't have my color pencil, so I couldn't color it.
Okay.
I'm done. Oh, and we need you because I don't know anything half of the time. So at least
Well-
you can tell stuff.
I was going to say bring your knowledge because
that would be you.
it's really important to know your isopods, to know the difference between what you're going to get a lot of times is I have a dry enclosure, an arid enclosure, which isopods work well with that. I have a dart frog enclosure. What isopod should I? So make sure you really understand which isopods are good for situations like that.
Come on.
We have a special guest.
You can look at the camera.
She doesn't want to look at the camera. This is Aubrey. This is one of our granddaughters, and she's just a really pretty little girl. Say hi. She doesn't want. She's smiling, but she doesn't want to say hi. Bye, Aubrey. Well, I think we've covered it. Did we miss anything? If you do isopod shows and we miss something, put it down in the comments below so that we can help the community here. Thank you very much for watching. Why are you?
I'm just trying to remember the routine. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, and make a comment. I think those are the 4 things.
Okay, Crystal, come here and teach Grandma what the routine is. Thank you very much for watching.